I remember we have seen a couple of times, you know, the executive also sitting in parliament or sending its representatives in parliament, especially during times when such crucial, you know, bills are being debated on. Mahesh.
Here, what I can say, Linda, is that there is always mighty influences in most of the most queer things that are either in the House for debate or anything to do with such a general election.
Then why should people go and, I mean, wake up very early in the morning to go and vote if
it is their democratic right to vote? Because once you fail to vote, then you allow the rest to be taken over by the opponents.
Yeah.
Therefore, you have to cast your vote. And I am sure that, in fact, going to what currently the modern technicalities of our election, based on them, I think the chances are becoming more minimal of rigging an election. And I think that, in fact, as much as we move on and keep on upgrading our structures of electronic gadgets, I think we shall be somewhere. But if it happens in the United States, where the democracy is of many inches, there I can tell you, it is not secure even in our domestic. And we can still expect that kind of influence to happen. And what happens is that nothing can happen without using the systems. And who are the system? The system, then anybody who wants to mess an election must use the Electoral Commission, because they are the people who have given mandate to safeguard an election and to exercise the process. And there is nothing they can do without involving that particular commission. And if there's a compromise, the whole thing is compromised by that particular commission. During Kivuito as a commissioner, when this country almost went to fire, that is at the bracket of 2007-2008, when this country went to a very messy after the results, you realize that Kivuito himself invoked to the public. And he was telling the public, oh yes, they have switched off the phones. Those are the coordinators. They are bringing doctored results. So what are you preparing to the company Monanchi? You are setting fire. And if we have to have an integrity, first it has to be that commission. In the manner they are releasing the results, and the manner they are making sure that they are relying to information has to be very, very, very of the highest integrity.
All right.
Otherwise, I can tell you, there is no such a country which is not bitter after result. Okay. We have seen America for the first time. They are almost banning those centers of those, what we call them, those tallying stations. So it is always bitter to Arusa, who thinks that actually the rules is not genuine rules. But if the commission proves to be of so integrity, then you give the whole nation a confidence that the process is good. But I can tell you, you cannot, and there is no way that unless you are very strong as a commissioner chairman, then that kind of compromise cannot appear. Yes, because it is only by compromising that commission that you can be able to do what you want.
Okay, you know, I want us to go to the Mount Kenya politics still, but look at it this way. Probably this is in relation to the key factors or the key figures here. Right Honorable Raila Odinga, Deputy President William Ruto. If at all we're going to talk about a 50-50, at least as of now, if we had to go to the polls today, it would be about these two gentlemen. And maybe that's the reason one Kimemia speaks of a 50-50. Maybe saying that somehow Right Honorable Raila Odinga has the blessings of the deep state today, and therefore the chances would be high that he would take up, you know, the mantle as opposed to Deputy President William Ruto. I'd love for us to probably touch on just what is the role of, you know, the deep state. I remember there's one of them who spoke of the fact that, you know what, it's very important to have the existence of the deep state because they put the country check. Like you have highlighted on what played out in the United States. Maybe Maybe just, then Russia would have weighed down on the United States if the deep state did not think in such lines. And therefore, there's some level of importance in us having the existence of them because they understand the political terrains and will always bring sanity. Maybe in 45 seconds.
I would say, and this is my very personal opinion, with or without deep state, if elections were held today, the president of Kenya will be Raila Amolo Odinga.
What makes you say that?
If elections were held today with or without deep state, the president will be Raila Amolo Odinga.
And the Mount Kenya, which appears confused,
yes,
would give him the vote?
And I will tell you this. Raila has never been a talk in Mount Kenya.
Has always been a talk in Mount Kenya.
Let me now tell you this. Raila has never been a talk in Mount Kenya. Raila has always been seen as a bad omen in the mountain. Today, we have people in the region speaking for him and with him and, promising support for him. It has never been seen. Go down there, you will meet people now saying and seeing him as an option. Just by that. In fact, a poll was conducted a few days ago by a friend I know who wants to be governor for Murang'a. So he carried out an opinion poll in Murang'a.
Okay.
And he released the results saying that His Excellency, the Deputy President, starts at 50-something or 57. Right ahead, I think, 7% in Murang'a.
Okay.
And then I said, oh, okay, this looks like the big gap, but let me go back to 2017. Right ahead, 0.01% in Murang'a. So moving from 0.01% to 7%
is a great achievement.
And the man has just been there for a few months campaigning for 2022 is a big improvement. Why I say if elections are held today, Raila will be the president. If His Excellency the Deputy President want to be the President of the Republic of Kenya, he must do what Uhuru Kenyatta did in 2013 and in 2017 in Mount Kenya. Uhuru Kenyatta had close to 97% of the total vote cast in Mount Kenya. And there's around the same percentage in Rift Valley. So if the Deputy President is banking on Mount Kenya, he should get 95-97% of the votes. Anything short of that is a loss. And you saw what happened in Kiambaa. It is 50-50. Go elsewhere, the competition is stiff. If Raila Amolo Odinga just affords
the 7%,
a meager 40% or 30%, he is in as the President of the Republic of Kenya. Because his support base, which is Nyanza, Western Coast, is intact than ever before. He has been tested even outside where we had 50-50. You remember in Kisii and Nyamira, Jubilee and ODM had 50-50. So there was a contest in Ponchari. Who won? ODM. And it was won within the same margin, almost 50-50. So you can tell his support base in Kisii is intact. His support base in Nyanza is intact. Go to coast. Don't be shocked with these small things. The other day, you saw Nani leaving, governor for Kilifi. Now he is back saying
with a party,
we can work together. And now he's telling Raila Amolo Odinga, now I have a party, I want us to work with ODM. So that tells you that coast is intact. If he works with Kalonzo, you have seen in the Machakos by-election, over 85% win for the senator. And UDA was there, got around 10% or thereabout. So that tells you those regions that were with Raila Amolo Odinga are still intact. But come to Mount Kenya. You are telling me we are divided in terms of we are Kieleweke, we are Tanga. So if you have about 50 elected leaders from governors, senator, MPs saying they are with the Deputy President, and another close to 50 here saying we are with Raila Odinga. So that tells you, before we get to 2022 August, the deep state might not play a very big role. Because this time, there is no one who is defending the seat at the presidency. You remember, in 2017, Raila was crying because His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta had to defend his seat. Therefore, you really had to use, if it is deep state or whatever it is, that could happen. But now, why would it happen? He's not defending his seat. So it's Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto and any other person, and the Kenyans will decide. But I am telling you right now, if the elections are held today, the president of Kenya will be Raila Amolo Odinga.
Mahesh.
Arida, that's a good opinion from my panelist because he has his own light to share his opinion. But I differ in totality with the analysis he has just given to the public. What I would say is that Raila can be somewhere close to William Ruto if his whole house is united together in his team. I will be convinced that Raila is heading somewhere when we will be able to bring back Kalonzo. Because you cannot ignore an element of Lower Eastern where Kalonzo combines close to 2 million votes. And you want to convince me still Raila is safe in his basket without the 2 million Kamba vote.
Okay.
You also want to tell me Musalia Mudavadi was intact in support of Raila in NASA last election. And you want to tell me today he's a contender who has not decided to back Raila from his backyard. And still you want to tell me Musalia cannot even get 1 million vote from the Mulenda community.
Cannot.
And if we cannot, let me finish. Allow me to finish. Protect me to finish.
Okay.
Even though Mudavadi will go back with, there was a time he contested and he got about close to 500 now, half a million. Today I'm sure he'll get a slighter, bigger share.
All right.
And if like 3 million votes are out of the Raila's basket, then you want to tell Kenyans that Raila is still home and dry to win an election. I can tell you he can get even 20% from Mount Kenya region.
Okay.
But he still can't get the right of the
50 plus 1.
I am telling you it's very tricky. And if there is anybody who has lost his ground in totality, including the zone of the coast region, where my friend is telling me that these fellows are coming back, I will tell you, listen, the win of Kiambaa, we had no governor or anybody from those strong coast, Mount Kenya region people that were campaigning there. In Juja, they lost to a very small party and the system was full there. Governors were there, camping and everything. I'll tell you, it is not these governors who guys deliver the votes to the basket.
Okay.
Yes, the Kenyans are more brighter today, and I can tell you, even this kingmanship, actually at that point, they are not going to work. And let me tell you, you leave the masses to decide on the destiny. It has come a time, and let me tell you, I can assure you, take Raila's only comfort is when he'll bring Okoa Kenya back to the fold. But if he thinks that Uhuru is taking him anywhere, let me tell you, you get a very drastic failure.
Is he being played games on?
Let me say this. There's absolute democracy and guided democracy. What Mheshimiwa and these elected people and other leaders do every day is guided democracy. That is why you will see the deputy president with a battery of members of parliament.
Yes.
Why can't he just go alone? If it is about the people deciding, why does he come with people elected by the citizens?
Right.
Because he knows that these elected leaders have a voice.
Yeah.
They guide this electorate.
Yes.
So it is a guided democracy, Mheshimiwa. And in your constituency, people listen to you. That is why they voted for you. That is why tomorrow you'll go there and tell them, UDA kazi ni kazi, chagueni William, and they listen to you. So in other regions also expect a governor to tell his people that this is the direction. Expect a leader like Kabogo, Mother Karua to tell their people that we are going this side, and people will listen. Presidency.
But don't forget, these are outgoing governors.
So
whom you
they
cannot
really do
rely.
not. Okay.
You cannot even in the Mount Kenya. You can't rely with the Mother Karua. I'm telling
Is it
you.
so?
Rely with her.
Are you not the very same person who told us that mother stands a chance if he were to,
He can stand a chance because already the ground is prepared by somebody else.
You know, Mheshimiwa has taken over.
You just get the group.
Let me protect him so that he can finish his point.
You know, Mheshimiwa has taken over my time. That's okay.
All right.
He's my senior. I can allow him.
Uh-huh.
But you see, what I'm saying is this. All these people have voices. All these people have a following. You cannot tell me that a member of parliament elected and serving does not have a voice.
They have.
Even when they lose.
I am not differing.
Even when they lose they lose at a close range. The difference is always like 5,000, 10,000 to their opponent, meaning they had people following them. So these people will guide their people. I was about to say that presidency cannot be left entirely on the hearts of voters. You saw the other day in this Nairobi when we had realism versus populism. Populism won. Populism won. And Jubilee Party had tried to guide and say, you know, this thing, let us give it to Peter Kenneth.
Yeah.
They had even realized that Mike Sonko did not have papers. Not that he had no papers or that, but they realized it is realism versus populism. And Mwananchi will always go with populism because populism is show of, you know, color, you know, insults, noise, you know, affluence in terms of the cars you are showing up with. And
take that populism here.
So,
so you think he is more popular on ground?
That populism. That is exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
Right now, we have realism against populism again. William Ruto is saying things that are popular to say. That, oh, you know, if you go to a charismatic church,
yes,
my friend Linda, you'll walk out driving in your dreams. Driving a Mercedes Benz in your dreams. Pokea katika jina la Yesu. Endesha gari.
And you leave all the coins that you came with there.
You know, you walk out of that church without anything. So what the deputy president is telling his people now is that unaweza kuwa billionaire kwa kusukuma mkokoteni.
But you think right now Raila is not doing the same?
You can be a billionaire through pushing a wheelbarrow. That is populism. That is same to what we hear in charismatic churches. Let me say this. Raila Amolo Odinga does not say that. At least not once I've heard him that. In fact, in most cases, why he lost in 2007 and 2013, actually 2013 is because of Mau Forest. You remember? He went there and he became real. He told those people, the Kalenjins and the Maasais living in Mau Forest, guys, if we continue living in this forest, we are not going to receive rainfall. Anybody living in the forest must step out. William went there. He told them, this land belongs to you. Nobody can take it away from you. And it is in the forest. So Raila lost. He lost. The votes he had around that area, he lost. He always speaks what stands for Mwananchi. But populism, I'm sure, Mheshimiwa, if you find a person like that in Embakasi North, is it North? If you find a person who is lying to people that they are going to receive manna from heaven, you will be in a very, very, very delicate situation. A person who is ready to lie at any point to just get what he wants and not telling the people the truth. A president should not be of that kind. A president should tell people you must pay tax for you to get services. A president cannot tell people that bottom-up approach is about giving you money to start your enterprises. Government cannot give you money. Government gives services to people. Government provides conducive environment. And people, out of their own volitions, out of their own efforts, out of their own skills and competencies, take advantage of the provided conducive environment and services from government. But government cannot be walking door to door looking for people to give money. That is absolute inflation. But I know where he comes from. These guys in YK92 in 1992, with Jirongo. Actually, 500 shillings note by then was called Jirongo. Because they printed money and they caused inflation in this country. Perhaps he is still in that, hangover that we can go back there where you print money and dish out to people. No, we can't go there. Tell people the truth. They must toil. They must work hard to get what rightfully belongs to them.
Mahesh, Medik Karanja, let's listen to Medik Karanja and then I come to you. He says Musalia and Kalonzo Musyoka normally join political allies, and so in this case they should not be a threat to Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Yes. The brighter Kenyans will not vote for Ruto to Mejanjaruka from the mountain, and we are for Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Peter Ndado says people with sane minds can't dare vote for the DP. Honestly, some of the elected leaders are hyenas and they are after Ruto's money as at now, and they will not be re-elected in 2022, especially the Mount Kenya region. They're just eating his money, and once it is time, they will drop him like
I can just tell the writers of those messages that they are most welcome. That is their democratic right, and nobody will force them where to take their vote. But what we are saying here, because it is your democratic right to vote, you need to weigh which amongst the contenders we are going to support, and that is your democracy. That is your democratic right. And coming to the element of the narrative that my panelist has brought here, I would totally go against that. And I want to tell my panelists that in fact there is a reality in the way the approach of the bottom-up is coming. And this is not free money, and nobody has advocated about free money. Only what Ruto is promising is startups that actually are not of the same interest with the current rates of our banks. Where we have such a model, in our youth funds, women funds, and other funds where you realize that actually it's almost related with only a single 1% or 2%. And this is what he's talking about. He's not talking about dishing free money. Okay. This money is returnable money, but you are just giving out that money in a bigger scope so that many can be able to be uplifted and join the basket of repaying back. And nobody is not advocating now not to repay and not to pay the tax. Only what we are saying is that as much as we have we have motivated as many as possible, these people are good in their small businesses. At the end of the day, if somebody is making a profit of small thing, he can at the end of the day be able to pay a small token to the tax.
People are asking, how are you going to deal with corruption? Because evidently, if you are to take that angle, then there has to be existence of this money that you're talking about. And that's what Solomon says. Then if there's no money, we'll end up borrowing so that we can come and, give this or dish out this to the people so that they can, embolden themselves. Or we'll have to print money for the same to happen. So in this case, we have said that we have so much in the country, just that corruption, is stopping us from enjoying the best of this. So what are your models of dealing with corruption as we come to a close, so that maybe you'll have also enough, or we'll have extra, so that you're able to dish out this to the people?
I can tell you what makes the corruption to have serious roots is failure for the executive to take its sweep. I am very sure that in fact Kibaki did not make miracles. He only introduced structures and made sure that the structures are working. And that's what made us, from what Moi was able to collect then was about 200 billion. But actually, at a scope of time before Kibaki exited, this country was collecting domestically above 1 trillion Kenya shillings. And therefore, is only getting back to those mechanisms where your structures are working structures. And how do you make your structures to work? Make sure that you whip from the top. Make sure that you are no nonsense. You cannot be able to say Kemsa is being stolen and billions has gone, and you have known the actual culprits, and you just give them 20 days to get the results, and then a year is gone without any single answer but a mute of the same. How can you fight corruption when you are dealing with a double standard phase? It can't work. It must be seen from the top working, and here you must be seen not applying that double standard. If there is a fight against corruption, fight everybody. Don't have those double edge, and that's what is killing us here in Kenya, because there are those who are free to reap from the covert, and others are criminals when they are found on the same route. Once we realize that we are one and we are dealing with one roof of the Constitution and we respect our Constitution to the letter, then we are coming to get out of this mess.
All right.
Yes.
Solomon, as we close, and this is an interest of you because you want to exit the stage early enough, equate what the Molo Member of Parliament was talking about in terms of, when you speak about the Mount Kenya region, please do not include us because we have zero idea of what, of coffee, zero idea of what plays out in terms of tea. We know Waru, we know all this. How then will the next president or the next leadership or even that Kikuyu leader that you speak about would come in to address the interests of the Kikuyu? Because as at now, I'm told the mountain says our big concern right now is who is going to come and bring back the monies into our pockets. Who is going to come and address the grievances and the needs of the people of the mountain? Let's speak about farming. Let's speak about, the economic activities being boosted and all that. So is it going to be a delicate balance to impress all the people from the mountain?
It may not be a very delicate balance because all what Kikuyus need is to be on the table.
Okay.
Then when you're on the table, when that cake is being divided to go to different parts, you are there. So justice will be instant at that point.
Okay.
So, and being on the table, they say dalili ya mvua ni mawingu. So before you tell me of 2022, let us see what you are doing right now.
Okay.
Have you picked me as your running mate? Yes. So at least now, if you promise you are going to have half of the cabinet from or quarter of the cabinet from the region or wherever, that one I can take if you have already picked a running mate from us. So dalili ya mvua ni mawingu. If whoever will come and convince, if the mountain will not produce a presidential candidate, then more definitely it will be a running mate.
Yeah.
So if anyone who picks the right running mate from the region will have the blessings, will have the support.
It has to be from the region.
Of the people. Yes, that has to be.
No two ways to this.
The most insecure community in Kenya
is the
are the
mountain.
Kikuyus.
Okay,
the most
close
insecure.
it.
And you know why they're insecure?
Yeah.
Because they have everything to
lose.
protect.
Okay, to protect
and everything to lose.
At the same time.
Yes.
Close it, Mheshimiwa, in 30 seconds.
Reader, what I would say is that it's a very tricky thing that we are working on. And I am not seeing any serious danger ahead for the Mount Kenya region and the entire nation. Because at the end of the day, they will elect one of their own. So if they make a mistake, they cannot be able to transfer the mistake to anybody else because they will only blame themselves. So what I will tell you is that, in fact, they will be sweet-talked, they will be promised, but in fact what they should do is to be very keen on where they will start. They must know who is their savior going forward and who is capable to deliver or not, because they are Kenyans and they are grown here. They are not coming from the moon. And at the end of the day, I am telling you, we must go to the best candidate. One is not the candidate that will just appraise the Mount Kenya region, but the president that will make a unity of the whole Republic of Kenya. And number two, who will liberate us from the poor state of economy we are in. And we must inquire that a genius person, we may not have him for now, but we need somebody close to that. Right. So that in fact, we can get out of where we are. We are now in a crazy way that we cannot be able even to know what we can eat in the evening because of the crazy skyrocket of our fuel, which actually carries the whole burden of our economy. Then we need people with merciful face. That
the DP has some bit of that?
I believe we need such a person. Yes, people who feels and who knows and who has walked a very big journey on the poverty line.
So the DP has an idea.
Who knows that you can sleep without even having a single meal. Who knows you can walk for 10 years without a shoe.
Yeah.
That is a fellow we need. We need somebody who have known what is issues to deal with poverty.
Thank you so much, Honorable James Gakuya, Member of Parliament, Embakasi North, and political analyst Kuria Solomon. It was great having you this morning. I hope to have you some other time. We close it at that, and not in totality. We are getting to discuss blended families after this short break. I'm sure a majority of you will be asking just what you know, is a blended family. Worry not, because we have specialists who will make you understand and, you know, tell you that the event you find yourself in that situation, worry not, because it's possible. It is working.